wondered who the person with the most magnets on their fridge is? Well, it has to be the person who has traveled the most. But then, who is the person with the least magnets on their fridge? It is the one that booked the trip, had a very disappointing experience, and never traveled again. Because having magnets doesn't mean you have never had a bad experience. It just means you have tried again and again and again. I'm Aleksandra, and today I will show you why second chances are not rare in life. But to get a second chance, you have to try to take the first one first, even at the risk of failing. In my hand, I'm holding an arrow. Do you see it? I bet you don't. I bet you also don't see the stack of arrows right behind me, but they are there, and they exist. I promise. Every single one of you here in this room has the same arrow in their hand, and the same stack behind their backs. Yet, how many of you have shot them actually? Well, I'm 100% sure that every single one of you here has shot their shots at life. Whether it was to get their dream job or go on a date with the cutest guy, every single one of you here has used their arrows an infinite amount of times. So, let me teach you how to shoot again. I, influenced by the pessimistic and unusually anxious environment of the teenage world, to believe the second chances were just a delusion. Yet, on this day last year, I was making the final touches of my first TEDx speech. I spent a tremendous amount of time working on the speech, but it didn't matter at the end. You know why? Because there was a tiny little human in my head, banging on the insides of my skull, screaming, "You can't do it. You will fail your only chance, even though you spend a tremendous amount of time working on it." Because of this tiny little human, mostly because I let it in, regretfully, I presented a wonderful speech that I didn't enjoy presenting. When the haze of disappointment cleared, came the first time I asked the question, can I get a second chance? Are second chances unique? If they are, why? The universal second chance is called neuroplasticity. Inside of our brains, there are thousands of cells called neurons, responsible for brain activity connected in what looks like a roadmap. After trauma, incident, any event that is harmless or dangerous enough to cause change or any damage to the brain, these neurons still find new ways to connect, new roads to form, keeping the brain active. And what is even more interesting is that neuroplasticity doesn't stop with aging. So, if my brain can give itself a second chance, then so can I. So can we, no matter how old we are. I believe I have managed to convince you that the arrow in my right hand truly exists. But have I managed to convince you that your own arrows in your own hands exist? I want you to help me answer my question. Are second chances unique? Is it just me, or can everyone here get a one? Is what I've talked about a mere coincidence, just a delusion, a luxury some oblivious of the worst tragedy privileged children can afford? Now, I want you to extend your two palms forward like this. Thank you. There is a reason why I told you that your arrows are in your right hands. Now, as you look into your palm, I want you to imagine two accomplishments you have made in life. Did you get the dream job? Did you get a lead role in the school musical? Did you give birth to an amazing child? Anything. Imagine that. As you do it, don't forget two accomplishments. When every single one of you here is ready, look to your left hand. And I want you to imagine one failure. Were you rejected from your dream university? Did you not get your driving license? Did you break up with your boyfriend? Imagine that. When every single one of you here is ready, and if you have managed to think of two dreams and one failure, then I can tell you, you can keep your hands down now if you want to. I want to tell you that you have proved my experiment to be right. Not everyone here have managed to receive a second chance to present a TEDx speech, but everyone here has managed to get a second opportunity to be happy. And isn't that the greatest second chance any of us can get? To be happy. If you have failed at something, swallow the disappointment and move forward in this field or to the next one, motivated once again, then you are proof that every single one of us here has an arrow in their hands and a stack right behind their backs. So, what are we so worried about? If we know we can always move forward after a failure, what are we constantly anxious about? While my speech might have been disappointing for me last year, It led to one of my favorite accomplishments in life. I was accepted to Harvard Summer School, and that accomplishment led to the next one. Inspired by my experience there, I started writing my first book. While it was one of the biggest challenges in my life, it was also one of the biggest blessings. You know why? Because that was when I finally learned what the arrow metaphor meant. No one can make the perfect first draft, no matter how disappointing that thought might be for all the authors. And what is even worse, after you make the first draft, it becomes harder and harder to write the other ones because sometimes you have to rewrite whole chapters. But J.K. Rowling made 15 drafts on her first Harry Potter book before publishing it, and I will have to write at least 10 more before I am satisfied. And the same thing is with life. If you want to publish a book, you have to give yourself and your work chance after chance after chance to be better, and you have to give life chance after chance after chance to be better. Nothing is final as long as you're willing to put in the work for it. Let's dive into the brain again. Now you know what neuroplasticity means. But what if I tell you that there is a way to control your own brain, to rewire it, in a process called forced neuroplasticity? To change your brain, you have to change your life. There are several ways to do it. Mindfulness activities, physical activities, games in specific combination can all shrink or grow parts of our brain, changing the way we think, we act, we live. Change your brain, change your life. Nothing is set in stone as long as you're breathing. Nothing is for certain too. So, shoot your shot. Don't think if you make one wrong step or decision in life, the world will end. Don't think if you make one mistake, you have to suffer in silence for the rest of your lives and no one will understand you. Because we can rebuild, rewrite, rewire an infinite amount of times, as long as we try. I want you to remember a few simple things from my speech. People say often that bad things happen over and over and over again until we learn our lesson. But that is exactly the same thing that happens with good things too. If we try something and it doesn't go as planned, life will most likely give us another opportunity, sometimes even better, just because we were brave enough to try. So do exactly this. Try. Shoot your shot even if no one sees the arrows. Don't let fear be the reason you don't fulfill your dreams, or even worse, you don't enjoy fulfilling them. Because fate will remember those who have tried. So buy the magnets, put them on the fridge. Be the person with the most magnets on their fridge in the world, even if no one sees the arrows or the magnets or anything. Even if some of the trips you took were disappointing, because having magnets means you have tried. And one day, with all the arrows and all the magnets in the world, we will all be finally exactly where we want to be, at our own peak.